Hey everyone, Pesmori here and welcome to Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. Tyrion, we're definitely lost. You followed Lord Steelwind's directions to the letter, but it appears you found yourself in the ruins of an old city rather than the estate of the Archduke. I don't understand. This should be the place. The map even has that giant tree north of here. This can't be the city of Leyden that Virgil mentioned. It doesn't look like anyone's lived here in centuries. But Lord Steelwind's directions were pretty straightforward. So why are we... Wait a minute. Did he give us the wrong location on purpose? Oh, hello, Lucio. Please, what kind of dishonorable cretin do you take me for? Lord Steelwind. What are you... What are you doing? Okay. Haven't seen typos in a while. Glad I did. Thank you very much. What are two standing around here for? The trial should be starting shortly. He's not alone either. He's flanked by a division of the Kingsguard and Arya. But it's difficult to tell if they're escorting her or keeping watch over her. Both. You can see one of the knights channeling a spell over Arya. It must be an anti-magic field. Even now, she must still be wary about someone taking control of her mind. Wait, this is where we'll be hosting the trial? Yes, the Archduke has always been sentimental about this place. Seems like he knows more than we're catching on to. And I doubt a normal courtroom would have enough space. Is your mom here or something? What? I really don't know what possessed him to trust you. It's a miracle he's even taking part in this at all. But nevertheless, let's not keep him waiting. Before you can ask him to elaborate, he walks past you and heads towards one of the central buildings. It's completely dilapidated. You're a little worried it might collapse on you while you're in it. Maybe that's a trap. Look at the prosecutor. Is that really what to call her? The prosecutor? And raise an eyebrow at her. But she merely shakes her head. It's clear she is just as lost as you are. Alright, I guess we're doing this. The ruins are filled with everyone who was at the Grand Cathedral that day. This looks so dumb, by the way, but... Okay, whatever floats your boat, pal. And they all seem to be just as out of the loop as you are. The one who seems unfazed by this entire situation is Lord Steelwind. Nah, he's just better at hiding it than everyone else is, okay? He's taken his position as the opposite end of the room. It seems he truly plans on prosecuting his daughter. At least it's not the other P word that rhymes with this. At the very least. Thank you all for coming here today. I appreciate your cooperation with our investigation. Why have you brought us here? This place is filthy! It's crawling with insects and vermin! My apologies, but what happens here today must be kept under wraps for now. Says I, the son of Sparta. I had to choose a location that was away from modern society. But nevertheless, I welcome you all to my home. Wait, you live here? Yeah, what? Is he insane? Yeah, he's insane. Yes. Your Grace, I know you wouldn't bring us here unless you were completely certain. But I want to ask you one last time. Is this truly what you wish to do? There'll be no going back after this. Huh? I have made many mistakes in my lifetime. I gave Wyvern the means to protect themselves, but all it did was warp them into something monstrous. I grew bitter seeing what I created, so I isolated myself from my people. I thought the best course of action would be to stay in seclusion and leave Wyvern to fend for themselves. I see now what a fool I was. I abandoned my kin to survive in an unjust world. Yeah, you could have at least paid child support. Come on. Nero's just out there, doing something. And now, foreign powers have ingrained themselves in my kingdom. All because of my negligence. Foreign powers? Does he still suspect you're an agent of the theocracy? Well, no more. It's time the people of Ivengard and their enemies remember who watches over them. Virgil, the son of Sparda. As he raises his hand, magic begins to swirl around him. What's going on? This looks kind of funny, not gonna lie. The entire room is shaking violently. Whatever he's casting, it's unlike any magic you've ever seen before. A blinding light envelops him, but you can faintly see his form changing. It's expanding and from it... Wait, is that... Huh? Huh? It's a dragon! Huh? Okay. What? This makes... Okay, fine, whatever. Whatever, man, whatever. As the Archduke assumes his true form, the gallery breaks out into hysteria. Yeah, that's what hysteria sounds like. Some of them kneel in reverence to the ancient dragon, and some of them cower in absolute terror. And some of them shit their pants or something, I don't know. You even see some of them attempting to flee before they're stopped by the Knights of Wyvengard. Kingsguard, whatever. Enough! This may not be a court, but I will have order. Hey, you were the one who brought them out of it, okay? Come on. You're an ancient dragon? No, you're the last ancient dragon. Correct, Heavensborn. I am the Lord of all Lords. You stand before Rassalion, the Scaled Lord. Oh, he's 1,203 years old. Okay. And his occupation is the Scaled Lord. Okay. Remus Virgil is an alias I assumed while I walked amongst your kind. But make no mistake, even in my human form, I always had the strength of an ancient dragon. Okay. Until now, only the lords of House Stewart and the kings of Wyvengard have known my true identity. But I will hide no longer. My will alone will determine how this trial ends. Do you mind killing Ares for me, please? Thank you. I wonder if Rassalion is still alive, like you said. Okay, I won't be surprised. Despite everything. Okay, whatever. Huh. How does she know? Oh, whatever. Oh, yeah, right. She's a... yeah. What? Okay. So that's why you've been acting as the Arbiter. You know, when I hear Arbiter, I only think of the one from Halo. voiced by Spawn. You're the only person with the authority to convict any and all the nobles here. Make no mistake, Mr. Cuthbert. I will remain impartial regardless of what transpires here. I will not interfere with his trial, nor will I try to manipulate his outcome. I will only mediate his process and pass judgment when necessary. Well, that's certainly terrifying. Now then, with introductions out of the way, shall we proceed? How are you gonna slam the hammer? Of course, Your Grace. Okay, exist I'll do. The prosecution is... So you're the one who taught Steelwind that! The cane slam, that was you! Just like Tamora teaching Tyrion the desk slam, damn. Okay, it's all coming together. Yeah, let's do this. The defense is also ready, I think. I'm sure we all thoroughly aware of why we gathered here. But for the sake of doing this properly, could you please list the charges, Lucio? Of course. The defendant, Arya Steelwind, is charged with several counts of manslaughter. Her victims include many knights of the Kingsguard who are still unresponsive. And of course, there's Lloyd and Sybil, the House of Lloyd and Sybil. He looks so fed up. He's like, yeah. They're unfortunately the heads. What is this farce? This trial has been over before it began. Lady Steelwood clearly overestimated herself. Even a child knows to be wary of mage blight. Don't you see? This is Bahamut's judgment. The divine powers that have been clearly... whatever. Might I remind the court of my own testimony? I witnessed Beatrice Frege enter the prayer room before I lost consciousness. Isn't that suspicious? That this occurred around 15 minutes before Pierce's death. Objection! Really? That's his voice? Ah, whatever. As long as I don't have to hear it like 25 million times, I'm fine. If I recall correctly, you only caught a glimpse of her. You don't know if it was someone else disguised as an illusion. You didn't even speak to her. There's all the more reason to call her to the stand. She has already testified that she has no memories of what transpired. There is no need to drag this out any longer than necessary, Cuthbert. Yeah, okay. My client has the right to a fair trial. Yeah. And Beatrice Frege's involvement clearly implies some sort of foul play. Enough. I find Mr. Cuthbert's request to be reasonable. And I agree that Lady Frege's actions are quite suspect. Humph. Very well, let the defense have this battle. I only hope for his sake that his blade strikes true. Huh, okay. I mean, are you pointing or are you doing the salute? Why is everything a war metaphor with you? Beatrice. I'm glad you're safe, Mr. Cuthbert. No, you ain't. Not for the lack of trying on your part. That wasn't... I have no memories of what I did. Hey, I changed GPUs. But nah, I'm just joking, I know. If I hurt you, I'm truly sorry. She actually looks pretty sincere. But it's not as if this is the first time she's lied to you. To be honest, I'm still a little doubtful about your memory loss. But I'm not the only one who's experienced it. Arya also has no memories of what happened. And how would you know that? word travels quickly in the dungeons. Okay. What? Regardless, if you truly have no memories of what happened, could you testify about what you do remember? How is there a desk slam? That's made of stone! Ah, whatever. Perhaps there was a clue there we haven't discovered yet. Very well. I was with my sisters and my guide, Ares Illuminator. That sounds very sus already. You mentioned Ares? That's sus. I was speaking with them in the garden when I suddenly felt ill and lost consciousness. Ares did something. When I woke up, my sisters found me. They said I had gone missing for over an hour. I was confused, but when I later heard what happened, I realized someone must have taken control of my body. Ares. I had no memories of what happened, and from what I understand, the same thing happened to Arya. And to make matters worse, there's nothing that indicates who could have controlled our actions. So she's also saying someone else was controlling her. Well, her testimony does match up with Arya's statement, but there's something off about the way she's testifying. If she were trying to lie, she would be a lot more vague. What's she doing? Again! There shouldn't be a sound! She's been missing since the massacre happened. I really hope she's okay. Why'd you do a desk slam if you were gonna say that? Oh, make no mistake. She's definitely okay. Again? What makes you so sure? Do you remember anything about what happened to her? No, but it's just a feeling. Okay, that makes sense, but not the desk slam. Enough about your speculation. Tell us about what happened next, Freyga. That rhymes with Sega. If they were with you, shouldn't your sisters have noticed this? According to Leif and Miriam, their pet dog was running amok in the hallways. They left the witness with Illuminator to chase him down. And when the sisters returned to the garden, both Beatrice and Illuminator were gone. Yeah, that's a red flag right there, okay? Do you know how many red flags there are, okay? Do you remember anything after that? No. I really want to remember, but I can't. The amount of red flags there are. We can take them off, stitch them together, and it'll be bigger than the entirety of the world. That's how many red flags there are. Okay, did I read this or whatever? I don't care. She certainly looks like she's telling the truth. But history shows she's hardly trustworthy. And you have no memories of what happened? No, none at all. I can only imagine what I was forced to do while I was unconscious. R34 stuff. What? Forced? What do you mean by that? So you're also saying that someone else controlled your body? Yes, it's the only explanation for why you saw me in the prayer room. Objection! Wui. Can you shut up? Absolutely ridiculous. Arcane magic is not capable of mind control. You're spinning a fairy tale to absolve yourself. You are compelled to agree with him. So why do you feel like something's wrong? Think what you will. But please believe me when I say... Okay, whatever. Your statement does match up with what happened to my client. But you clearly already knew what happened to her. You could just be using that knowledge to fabricate an alibi. I I suppose I can't blame you for thinking that after what you saw. Mr. Cuthbert, I know it doesn't mean much coming from me, but I am telling the truth. That remains to be seen. Why would you even bring that up? Well, if you had evidence that someone else was controlling us, it would exonerate both me and Arya. Think, Mr. Cuthbert. Stop doing that, Ares! That would be the best case scenario, wouldn't it? What? It's nothing. She looks extremely frustrated for some reason. The way she's testifying is a little strange. She immediately concluded that someone else taken control of her, like right now. And why would she bring up what happened to Arya? Wait, that was it? Okay, that was fast. Why would she say something like that? You found the contradiction, but it's almost like she gave it to you. Beatrice, you said there's no indication of who orchestrated this. But there's one piece of evidence that does, albeit loosely. And what would that be? This symbol. You pull out the parchment with the purple mark on it and show it to her. Maranath, what are you doing? Oh yeah, she can't see. I forgot. I forgot. It's like, if Maranath wasn't there, it's like, look at this! And then she'd be like, what am I looking at? Okay. What's wrong? He's using his powers to suppress our connection. Magic. I actually can't see what you're trying to show me. Maranath, stop being petty and just show her. I don't take orders from you, Heavensborn. I wonder, Mr. Cuthbert, what is on that parchment? You see, Beatrice, Arya has been investigating a string of murders throughout Rivengard. These murders appear to be unrelated, despite how gruesome they are. But they all share one thing in common. This symbol was found at each and every crime scene. Objection! Don't tell me my daughter has roped you into her little conspiracy theory. Your mind control defense would be laughable if it weren't downright insulting. Lord Steelwind, during the gap in Arya's memory, someone placed this mark in her pocket. Okay. Enough about the table. Enough about the stone table making a sound. It's clearly some sort of taunt from whoever orchestrated this. Nonsense! She clearly drew that symbol herself during her psychotic episode. I had to listen to her go on about her insane theory. She's obsessed with it. Mr. Cuthbert, aren't you curious about what just happened? What are you talking about? Think about it. Why would... My apologies. I don't know why I said that. Stop it! You're making me wonder if it's the game or my GP. Is everything okay? Yes, I'm perfectly fine. Anyways, it looks like you'll have to figure out the rest on your own. Figure out the rest on my own? It's a subliminal message, bro. Come on, what do you mean? There's nothing to figure out. Shut up, old man. Your Grace, these two are making a mockery of us by spouting these insane theories. Game theories. Thanks for watching. Please keep watching. The defense clearly has no case. End this at once. He's like, are you really serious? Considering what I know, I would like to indulge this theory. What? The judge is finally giving you a chance for once. Now's my chance! You shouldn't waste this opportunity. You've actually been noticing it for quite a while. Beatrice has been acting strangely since the trial began. It's suspicious, but not in the way it seems to implicate her. It's almost like she's intentionally trying to make you realize something. Why don't you pull on this thread a little more? She just asked you if you were curious about what just happened. You're not just sure why she stopped herself when you asked for elaboration. What event was she referring to? But whatever she's trying to draw your attention to must be significant. Maranath, he didn't allow Beatrice to see the purple mark. He'd only do that if Beatrice would recognize it immediately. Why would he interfere? Maranath is a familiar, and he used to follow her orders. But the missions changed. They always do, now that she belongs to the Empress of Discord. So why would a demon like Maranath interfere with this? The purple mark must be related to a demon somehow. That's the only explanation as to why he would prevent her from seeing the mark. Yeah, you're onto something. But Arya has been investigating murders throughout Wyvern. Does this mean her investigation also has something to do with the demon? Arya suspected that each of the murderers was acting against their will. And now both Arya and Beatrice are also claiming they were controlled. How could something demonic control Beatrice? You can't explain what happened to Arya and these other individuals. But you do know why Beatrice might not have full control of her actions. You recall what was written on the contract during her trial. It said what would happen if she failed to claim House Freyga. Her soul, her mind, and her life would all be claimed by the Empress of Discord, aka Ares. What does this tell us about Arya? If the Empress of Discord owns Beatrice's mind, would that mean they could also control Beatrice against her will? But if that were true, no, this can't be. Did Arya seriously sign a blood contract with a demon? But why would she ever do that? But it's the conclusion that makes the most sense. You can't think of any other way someone could control her against her will. And there is one way to find out for certain. The Divine Edict, the same ability you used against Beatrice during her trial. It was instinctual at the time, but you have some understanding of how it works. It creates a copy of the blood contract between a contract holder and the demon who created it. But for it to work, you need to know the name of the contract holder. In addition to that, you need the name of the demon who created the contract. Which demon did Arya make a blood contract with? Right now you're only on guesswork. But going off what you know, the demon who made the contract must be... Why would you even... Are you feeling okay? As far as you know, Eugene the monkey is not a demon. There's a more reasonable guess. Okay. Thanks, Diamond Henge. The so-called Empress of Discord. She was even mentioned in Beatrice's blood contract, but you still have no idea who or what she is. However, she was mentioned in the blood contract created by Maranath. She must be his superior in some way. That might explain why Maranath doesn't want Beatrice to identify the purple mark. You're not sure if a pseudonym is enough. Well, I don't even know what that is. but it's the closest you can get with what you know so far. You've been awfully quiet for some time, Mr. Cuthbert. Where's your motivation? Do you need more power? He's probably imagining new ways to futilely stall for time. Shut it, old man! I don't want to hear this from you! I think I finally figured out why the witness and the defendant can't remember anything. And it would also explain why they didn't have control of their actions.
Objection!
Again with this. Well, if you're so convinced that of my daughter's conspiracy, why did you prove it? I knew it. Even if you don't believe in the nonsense you're spouting. Lord Steelwind, I want to be wrong about this. If I'm right, the implications don't bode well with anyone involved. So, instead of telling you, I think it would be better to show you. How is the... Okay, I'm over the table. I'm over the table. I'm over the desk slam. I'm over it. Empress of Discord, wherever you may hide. I knew you could do it. Hey, she's smiling. Ah. By the eye of Horus, I issue upon you a divine edict. Release thy guards and manifest your blood contract with Arya Steelwind. Yeah. It's only one page. Large empty space at the top half. Okay, few sentences at the bottom. Tensions on Arya Steelwind. The patron surrenders to the patron. Why? Oh, whatever. No. This can't be true. This is... Yeah, this is madness. I'm sorry. I did not see this coming. Honestly, Diamond Henge, you could have built it up a bit more, but... Okay, that's his hammer. That's his hammer. That is his hammer. Stop prattling amongst yourselves.
Objection!
No, this is a sham. This wretch has clearly created a convincing fabrication. It's genuine, Lucio. It's impossible to falsify something like this. You can't deny the truth anymore, Steelwind. There is a way to control someone else's actions. Arya Steelwind wasn't affected by Mage Blight. She was controlled against her will. With this evidence, there is no doubt that Arya did sign a blood contract. Huh? Were there signs leading up to this? Were there? But it still doesn't make sense. I agree. Even if Arya wasn't the type of person to sign a contract with a demon, there isn't a single part of the contract that benefits her. I wish she signed this. There's a large empty space above the terms of your daughter's contract. When I issue a divine edict, it creates a copy of the blood contract I called for. I think when she was given this contract, it probably looked like something entirely different. Something else was written in this empty space to make it look like a normal legal document. Which means my client was tricked!
Objection!
Enough of this! All of you! Oh, don't kill me, please. Do you see now, Lord Steelwind? Arya was not responsible for what happened. That remains to be proven. What are you talking about? That's your daughter! She has a blood contract that relinquishes control of her free will. Not having control and not being responsible are two very different things, Cuthbert. What? I'll admit, the defendant may not have had control of her actions. However, she did have full control of herself when she signed the contract. Are you serious? No one in their right mind would willingly sign a contract like this. And what of Beatrice Frege? Was she in her right mind when she made a contract with the demon Marinas? Probably not. No, she was not. She wasn't. She was not. No, she wasn't, okay? Anyway, she had a benefit, okay? If we can't hold defendants responsible, surely we should also acquit Lady Frege for the murder of her father. That's hardly the same thing. I, for one, fail to see the difference. Because you only have one eye. Maybe if you had two, you would, A fool made a deal with a demon, and as a result, several esteemed members of society were killed. She's your daughter. And how does that change anything? I could just make more. Damn it. He seriously doesn't care if he convicts Arya. Honestly, this only places more responsibility on her for what happened. I could have accepted if she had been reckless and accidentally induced Mage Blight, but to sign a contract with a demon... Unacceptable! She was tricked! Is that so? What do you mean is that so? It is! It is! As a fellow attorney, you're an attorney! No, you aren't. What bar exam did you pass? Huh? The limbo? As a would you really sign a contract without carefully inspecting it? Okay. Have you not seen people accept the terms and conditions? Have you? Aye. Whether it was through foolishness, negligence, or both, the defendant willingly signed a blood contract. She compromised herself. As a result, 3 nobles died. The responsibilities fall squarely on her. Wait, even if she willingly signed the contract, that's not entirely true, right? Who else? Lucio! There's clearly someone else to blame for Arya's actions. Oh? Who? I'd like to reread the blood contract. Okay, yeah, that. This can only mean one thing. Whoever this patron is, they took control of my client and used her to murder the victims. That's right! They could still be out there. None of us are safe. Surely we can't end this trial while every member of the Wyvern nobility is in danger. Well played. GG easy. GLHF 2. I'm compelled to agree with Mr. Cuthbert. Trickery or not, it's clear someone wished ill intent on the nobles. And until we know who this patron is, you can't pass judgment on my client. Not until we know the circumstances that she signed the blood contract under. And what would you have us do, Cuthbert? The contract has no stipulations about proximity or how this mind control works. For all we know, this patron could have murdered the victims all while sitting in their very home. There's a clear intent behind this attack. Even if the patron didn't directly participate, they definitely had a motive. If Arya is being controlled, then we can analyze her behavior to determine who was controlling her. I see. That sounds just as good a plan as any. At the very least, we can't allow this patron to escape justice. He looks so fed up. Despite the questions raised, we've clearly made some headway. I believe we should take a brief recess to process these revelations. Humph, very well. We step outside the Scale Lord's lair to get some fresh air. Why was this place abandoned? These new revelations are a lot to take in. Yo. Celeste looks especially down. From what you've observed, she and Arya has been speaking to each other a lot lately. They must have become friends over the many times they've met. Can't imagine how powerless she feels right now. Oi! You're here? Yo! Arya! I'm so sorry! Oh man. What the hell happened? Don't be... Her voice begins to break. She's always been stoic, but it's clear even she has her breaking point. I can't imagine what you're feeling right now, but there is still hope. If we can find out who did this to you, we can still save you. Do you remember if you signed anything recently? Like car insurance? A wedding thing? No, I don't. Damn it, the patron must have wiped your memories to cover the tracks. But I still don't understand. Even if I don't remember signing that contract, I don't think I would have been that careless. Right. As much as I hate to admit it, Lucio's right. Don't give in! He's an idiot! You can't spell Lucio without I, and you can't spell idiot without I. That means he's an idiot. Yes, I'm ignoring that Arya's name also has an I in it, but hey. You're an attorney like me, and we always carefully looked over contracts before we signed them. Which raises the question of how the patron got your signature. Forgery? I don't know. Damn it. We don't even know what circumstances you were under when you signed the contract. For all we know, the patron could have used any number of tactics to coerce you to doing this. That's also possible. Arya. As you're deliberating amongst yourselves. This guy? Who invited this guy? What are you doing here? Yeah. Get out. This is a girls-only club. Hey, yeah, Tyrion's so weak he might as well be one, okay? Father! Humph. I can't believe him. How does he have nothing to say? He said humph, does that count? His actions say otherwise, but you could have sworn you saw something through the eye. It's almost as if he was saddened and worried. Well, no matter. He's made it clear he's your enemy. But the true enemy is much scarier than him, believe me. Whatever his motives are, you'll overcome him, just like everyone else. We should also head back, Celeste. Right. No matter what it takes, you're going to see this through. Court is now resumed. Shall we continue? How would you like to proceed? I think we should review what we do know about the murders. Humph. We do have a plethora of witnesses to work with. You do? That's correct. So let's start from the beginning. My name is Miles Morales. Nah, just joking. It all began when I was born. At noon yesterday morning. I was at my house in Rathalion with Arya and my bodyguard Steelwind. It's not a threesome. Aster is not a threesome. No, I wish it was. I was speaking with them when a courier suddenly delivered a letter to my home. It was from Garrick Pierce. He wanted to meet with me and Celeste at the Grand Cathedral of the Scale Lord at 2 p.m. To make sure we were on time, we arrived at the Grand Cathedral at 1. At the time, we didn't know the cathedral was closed to the public, but the knights guarding the cathedral allowed us in anyway. Apparently, they were expecting us. That should not have been possible. Due to the solemnity of the situation, we were very particular about who was permitted to enter the cathedral. It's possible someone pulled some strings to let us through, or you to enter illegally. Well, I'm sure the knights can vouch for us. I know about every order given to the King's Guard, and none of us were told to let you two through. It's possible the night we met fell comatose like the others. And as long as they're unresponsive, we'll never know. Perhaps we should continue. Anyways, we arrived at the church and spent the next hour sightseeing before we went to see Pierce. In that time, we met Miss Ramus, Lucio, Aster, and Alaric. And Arya, of course. And at the time, Arya and Aster left together to meet with the High Speaker in his quarters, and then go to his soundproof room afterwards. While exploring the cathedral, we spoke with Leloid and Sybil. Then we spoke with the 3 Frege sisters and Eris Ilmater? She's a friend of Beatrice Frege. Sure, a friend. More like foe to humanity. The King's Guard wouldn't let her bring her familiar into the cathedral, so she brought Eris to guide her instead. Yeah, leaving out the level 2 danger for a level 2 danger for a level 10 danger. That's messed up. Anyways, we left the garden at around 1:45 to meet with Garrick Pierce in the prayer room. And around the same time, Arya left her meeting with the High Speaker and felt nauseous. The last thing she remembers is looking at Lake Galler. That. A likely story. Regardless, at 2 p.m., Aster went to pay respects to his father's body. Unbeknownst to him, a mage placed that in front of the father's coffin. It was to trap it within a forced cage. What a despicable act. Considering what followed, the attack on His Majesty must have been a diversion. Right. It was also at the time that both Beatrice and Eris went missing. Very suspicious. Considering the timing of it all, someone must have taken control of Beatrice's body after the trap on Aster was sprung. Are you saying this patron controlled her as well? No, I don't think so. According to her contract, her mind belongs to the Empress of Discord, not the patron. Furthermore, Arya's blood contract was created by the Empress. It's clear the Empress and the patron were in league with each other. Wonderful. Another demon we have to worry about. No, just one. But to be fair, it is one very strong and scary one, okay? Anyways, the patron and the Empress had all the pieces they needed. That's when they began the massacre. The patron took control of Arya's body, and they used her to murder Leloid at 2:05. Thank God, he stuck the chest anyway. And his job. Presumably, Arya started a fire in the common room around this time. And since Leloid's body was there, this must have been after she was murdered. After she murdered him. Shortly after, Prince Alaric spotted smoke from the fire and asked Arya what was going on. Arya responded by using an unknown transmutation spell to incapacitate him. To think they would use her to attack the prince as well. Luckily, the effects on the spell were only temporary, and Alaric came out unharmed. After this, the patron used Arya to murder Sybil at 2:15. She brought Sybil's body to the westward balcony, where she dumped it into the lake. High Speaker Arceus witnessed this, but he wasn't aware of what she'd thrown off the balcony till much later. The High Speaker thought this encounter was strange, but he continued with his business. Yeah, he's pretty dumb. He headed to the prayer room, but was turned away by the knight standing guard there. Meanwhile, Celeste and I were talking to Lord Pierce. Yeah, as you do. When we showed up for the meeting earlier, he was clearly expecting someone else to show up. We tried to get to the bottom of what was happening, but he refused to answer our questions. And at around 2 p.m., we heard the commotion outside. Celeste went to investigate. And that was when Celeste fought Arya. Yeah. And she was badass. Dang. The patron's target was Garrick Pierce, but Celeste was too powerful to neutralize. Whew. Dang, Tyrion, you really got lucky on this one, huh? They fought each other for about 15 minutes before Arya was finally able to push past her. During their fight, the Empress sent Beatrice to the prayer room. She probably made Beatrice invisible to move undetected. She then used her spell. Whatever. I remember checking the time close to when this happened. Must have happened at 2:30. If your testimony's correct, Beatrice Frege was actively used in this plan. Yeah, and considering how quickly the massacre unfolded, the Empress must have coordinated with the patron. They probably planned how they would use Arya and Beatrice to carry out the murders. Anyways, after Beatrice knocked us out, Arya finally pushed past Celeste and entered the prayer room. And before Celeste could chase after her, she had already murdered Pierce. Arya and I were already unconscious by the time Celeste entered the room. Okay. The patron had already achieved their goal on murdering the three nobles. So she probably fell unconscious after they released their control over her. Arya and I regained consciousness shortly after. That's when the Inquisition arrested her for the murders. What was that earlier? What was that just now? Lord Pierce was one of the victims. Your meeting clearly has more significance than I realized. So tell us, what's your discussion about? It's fine. You can tell them. Alright. As long as you're fine with it. For the past few months, Celeste and I have been investigating who her birth parents are. Poor people. I recall receiving many complaints about her during the Lord's Ball. It looks so done. Supposedly, Garrick Pierce had the information we were seeking. That letter he sent us said that he wanted to trade this information for his freedom. I assumed this meant he wanted me to be his attorney. Do you honestly expect us to believe that? Why would he ask for help from the attorney who indicted him in the first place? We thought the same thing. And when we arrived, it was clear I wasn't the intended recipient. This means that Pierce sent the letter to someone else. You better not be lying to us. Frankly, I don't much care if you believe me. Regardless, if we examine every action Arya took, We can build a psychological profile on the patron. I will give you that. To begin, the defense would like to call the Inquisition commander to the stand. His testimony might shed some light on how Lloyd and Sybil died. Despite all these witness accounts, we still only know how Pierce was murdered. Yes, he was impaled using a blade magically frozen from his own blood. In a grim sort of way, it's almost poetic that he died the same way Flintheart did. Damn. But you doubt that will give Celeste any sort of closure? Okay, maybe I'm not over the table thing. The table slam thing. Maybe I'm not over it. I probably never will, but okay, let's move on. Anyways, we need to find out exactly how Arya murdered Lloyd and Sybil. The massacre was swift and decisive. It must have required a lot of forethought and coordination. If we figured out who might have had this knowledge, we might be able to find out who did this. I see. This sounds as good a plan as any. King's Guard, escort Commander Orem White to the witness stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation. Right, Commander? I'm sorry. I just can't do this. Yeah, the dragon's right behind him. How am I supposed to act like this is normal? You're so dead. You called the Scale Lord a giant lizard in front of his face! A giant lizard is standing right behind me. Calling me a lizard is foolishness, White. Foolishness. Calling me a lizard is highly offensive. Sorry, your Scale Lordship, sir. Commander, just do your best. Yeah. It all started when we received a report from the King's Guard. The prosecutor attacked Prince Alaric and a fire broke out in the common room. We weren't sure what's the deal with Steelwind, so we went to the common room to put out the fire. But when we got there, we noticed a bunch of unconscious knights in front of the prayer room. We went to the prayer room. That's when we found Steelwind and Cuthbert's unconscious next to Pierce's dead body. We later found out the bodies of Lloyd and Sybil too. That's when we realized she offed all three of them. So you still have no idea how Steelwind was used to murder them? Not a clue. It's especially worse for Lloyd. That fire burned a lot of the physical evidence off of his body. What about Sybil? No idea about that either. She didn't have any wounds either. All we know is she died from suffocation. There's definitely more to this than meets the eye. And this is mainly based on Prince Alaric's testimony, right? Yeah, we still have no idea what transmutation spell she hit him with. Judging from the time of the report, must have been well after three of them was murdered. Yeah, it was unfortunate how that played out. Sure. If Steelwind was really controlled, whoever controlled her knew how to get the job done. That leaves the question of how they did this so efficiently. Oh. Was that wise? Regardless of who it was, someone assaulted the Prince of Wyvengard. We were already dealing with the king who was trapped in the forest cage. Honestly, a lot happened in that hour. And most of our attention was focused on keeping the royal family safe. We already conclude that the attack on the king was a distraction. Whoever orchestrated this must have known we focused our attention on keeping the royal family safe. That makes sense, and the casualties still included many knights from the King's Guard. Probably had to spread the forces thin to protect everyone else, and handle the fire in the common room. What did you do when you arrived at the common room, Commander? Okay, whatever. Did you see Arya or Celeste? No, we only saw the aftermath of the fight. There were marks and craters everywhere. Pierce's time of death was 2:45, and the knights didn't arrive at the common room till 3:10. They didn't arrive at the prayer room till well after the battle. Wait, wouldn't that mean you were in the room with Pierce's body for 25 minutes? Why didn't you look for help? You weren't waking up for some reason, so I kept channeling my healing magic into you. Looking back, I probably should have just looked for help. But even if Arya was unconscious, I didn't want to leave you alone in the room with her. Right. Sorry. Recalling that moment is clearly taking a toll on her mind. Apologize! Now! Okay, maybe later. Oh, did he apologize? Apologize 100 times! Judging from the timing, this would have been several minutes after he had died. Yeah, we had no idea what was going on. Pierce was already dead, and you and Steelwind were unresponsive. I can see why I'd be unresponsive. I was hit with a spell specifically designed to make people sleep. But why would Arya be unresponsive too? We have no idea. We never even heard of demonic possession till today. For all we know, it could have been a side effect for being controlled over. I suppose that makes sense. But could that common thread truly be a mere coincidence? That last statement was a little vague. Perhaps you should ask him to elaborate more. But whose murder should he elaborate on? Could you elaborate more on Sybil's murder? Was there any evidence that implied how she died? Using our divination magic, we knew she died of suffocation, but we're not sure how. But unlike Lloyd, Sybil's body wasn't burned. Shouldn't there be wounds all around her neck if she was suffocated? Well, we found traces of necromancy on Sybil. We think Steelwind cast mend wounds on her body after she offed her. This will remove any wounds on the body. It's exactly what happened with Bellwether. Yeah, the only wounds she had were from the impact of falling into the lake. Okay? And since someone cast mend wounds on the body, we still don't know how. Oh, there was more? Okay. Yeah, it's gonna be a real headache figuring that out. You're compelled to agree with him. No one saw the murder. Okay, the High Speaker only witnessed the moment Arya dumped the body, and even he didn't see that much. Is Sybil the victim you want to focus on? Perhaps, okay, but the other murders. Okay. Well, that one's simple. McCoy chased Steelwind to the prayer room but didn't arrive fast enough. Damn! Arya is fast! When she got there, Pierce was already dead. He was killed using a blade magically formed from his own blood. But why would she do something like that? When he murdered Flintard McCoy, he only used shaped liquid to avoid leaving it behind any evidence. I doubt the patron would make Steelwind do the same thing. Their intent was to pin the crime on her. We would think she knew McCoy was on her trail. She didn't have enough time to suffocate him as she did with Lloyd and Sybil. And she didn't have any weapons on her. She must have had to improvise. But she has other spells that could have done the job. She could have hit him with Steelwind Strike. I know from experience she's terrible at controlling that spell. It's possible she didn't want to unleash such a powerful spell in a closed room. That sort of tracks, but it doesn't feel right. But you can't really refute it now. Okay. It's possible the patron severely underestimated McCoy's combat capabilities. She fought my daughter for almost half an hour. Meanwhile, the other two murders occurred within quick succession to one another. Yeah, see what you mean. Anyways, add this. Sure. From what it sounds like, the patron wasn't planning on letting McCoy live. That drawn-out fight must have really thrown a wrench in their plans. I find that a little strange, though. How so? My daughter is a worthless soldier. She has no talent for combat, and I've experienced McCoy's battle prowess firsthand. As much as I hate to admit it, McCoy should have easily overcome her in an instant. It was her magic that was the problem, and I had no idea what kind of spell she would throw at me, so I had to be careful. And despite everything, I really didn't want to hurt her. Humph. That kindness could be the death of you, McCoy. It would be better to just let that slide. Anyways, if Pierce... Okay, whatever. Could you... okay, whatever. Like I said, it's trickier with Leloid because the fire... Okay, yeah. Divination magic could only tell that he died from suffocation. I see, so there's no other physical evidence. Oh, there is one thing. Okay. Hit with a firebolt before he died. We're guessing she wanted to weaken him before she dealt the final blow. So he took a direct hit from her after he died. Before he died. Okay, yeah. Okay, you're not sure what she used. Leloid... Okay, they both died of suffocation. You can probably assume the patron used the same method to murder both of them. Well, you know what they say about assuming. Don't be cute, bitch. He can't help it. What? What? I just got that, but okay. Okay. Anyways, Lucio's assumption does make sense, but you don't want to jump to conclusions yet. I can't stop thinking about that, man. Okay. Either way, is Leloid the victim you want to focus on? Perhaps you should ask him to elaborate on the other murders. Okay, whatever. Right, Firebolt is in her spell compendium. And Leloid wasn't exactly a fighter. Yeah, the poor Seb didn't stand a chance. Must have been in immense pain from the attack. Despite how much you know, there's a lot of details missing on how much how they died. But the Inquisition must have found some clues that you missed. You should have the commander elaborate.
Objection!
Okay, that was it. That's strange. What is it now? Commander White, you said that Stewan attacked Leloid with a firebolt before she suffocated him? Yeah, she probably wanted to injure him so he'd be easier to subdue. But that's what I find strange. Leloid knew he was under attack. So why wouldn't he cast Forest Cage to repel her? Guess that's true. Von Sanctus is hardly a warrior, Cuthbert. Force Cage is an extremely useful spell, but it has to be aimed. She was hit with a firebolt, and he must have been in immense pain. I doubt he'd be able to think clearly under those circumstances. I normally agree with you, but the crime scene tells another story. What do you mean, Mr. Cuthbert? What implies that Leloid cast Force Cage? Oh! When we investigated the crime scene, we found traces of abjuration magic that formed a perfect square around the body. I'm sure if we measured the dimensions of the square, it'd be 10 by 10, which is the same length and width as the cube created by Force Cage. Like you said, he was in no shape to aim it, so he cast it on himself to make a makeshift barrier.
Objection!
Nonsense. If Leloid had cast Force Cage on himself, he should have been protected from further harm. That's the point. The defendant wouldn't have been able to suffocate him. Whatever. Perhaps there was a way to bypass Force Cage? And once again, your ignorance of the arcane arts is much apparent. Force Cage is one of the most powerful abjuration spells in existence. It can be dispelled, and no one could teleport in and out of it. Right. Asta was trapped in there, yeah. And he had to wait for an hour to elapse. So how did Steelwind suffocate him? Wait. If Force Cage is perfectly close space, yeah. Is it possible he ran out of air? That would be a glaring weakness. House Leloid obviously designed that spell to allow oxygen through the barrier. And before you ask, poisonous gases can't be pushed through the barrier either. Only oxygen. Right. And even if they had used poison gas, the autopsy would show. Yes, how did Arya suffocate him? Only oxygen could go through. Yeah, how? Imagine if you didn't know fire needed oxygen to burn. Imagine that. Force Cage is, it's specifically designed to allow oxygen through the barrier. But what if there was no oxygen left? No oxygen? Ah, I see. It was a fire in the common room. The patron knew Arya couldn't harm him once he was in the Force Cage, so he started a fire to eat all the oxygen within the room. Huh, damn. What should have protected him ended up trapping him, and the inability to dispel it ended up sealing his fate. Damn. Well, I suppose that explains how the defendant murdered Leloid. But with that in mind, a lot of this plan sounds like it was improvised at the moment. Just like the murder of Pierce. And not only that, we assumed the patron used the same method to kill Leloid and Sybil. But I doubt she died under the same circumstances. Correct. There was only one fire. And if Sybil was in the Force Cage, the defendant wouldn't have been able to throw her body into the lake. Which means Sybil must have died by asphyxiation somewhere else. That means it's clear our next course of action is to determine how Lady Sybil was murdered. But we still don't know where she was murdered. And the only witness who saw her was the High Speaker. Which was after the defendant disposed of Lord Sybil's body. Lady Sybil's. Well, the High Speaker's testimony is as good a start as any. For our next witness, the defense would like to call the High Speaker Theon Arceus to the stand. What's wrong? It's nothing. Please carry on. Escort him to the witness stand. Witness, you will testify about... Oh, great and blessed scaled Lord! To think you would grace us with your presence! Oh my god. Oh gosh, okay. Forgive me, Lord Rithalion. I spoke out of turn. You must think I'm an arrogant fool. Wow. Looks like the witness is smooshing the judge for once. How many times do I have to tell you people I'm not a god? Yes, I revere and serve the god of dragons, but I'm not Bahamut's avatar. But you're the Scale Lord! Just a dragon. I'm not even a powerful one. I'm not a deity. This humility. That's exactly what Bahamut's avatar would say. He even swears by the god's name. Lucio, please handle this. Perhaps another approach is warranted? High Speaker Arceus, the great and powerful Rastallion calls upon you today. We acquire your... You require my blood? Of course, I will gladly give my life for the Scale Lord. What? No! Yeah, he regrets saying that. Of course, my blood would never be enough. Would you just let me? I will do as you wish, my lord. It would take some time, though. I would need some time to gather some followers and... Oh my god! We just want your testimony! Just tell us what you saw when Steelwind was at the westward balcony yesterday. Oh, I see. Wait, hold on. If that's what you truly wish, my lord. Are we going to ignore how ready he was to commit mass murder? No, murder. Suicide. Quiet. We just got it to calm down. I was doing some paperwork in my quarters, and I suppose I lost track of the time. My alarm went off and I realized that it was time for my afternoon prayers. I began heading to the prayer room when I spotted Lady Steelwind looking over the westward balcony. I tried to greet her, but she didn't respond to me. That's when I noticed she was pushing something large over the balcony and into Lake that. I asked her what she was doing, but once again she ignored me and went towards the prayer room. I thought nothing of it and made my way there as well, but the guards there turned me away. I went back to my quarters to do my prayers there. Considering the timing of it all, must have all happened minutes before she started attacking the prayer room. Yes, I consider myself lucky. The Scale Lord must have graced me with divine luck. Please, just... stop. Considering how quickly she was moving. There has to be a reason why she waited there. Was she waiting for the High Speaker to leave? Perhaps you should closely examine the timing. An alarm? It's a rudimentary artificery device. I use it to remind myself to conduct daily prayers. I see. And do you have it go off at specific timings? Yes, it's set to go off at 2:10, 5 minutes before my afternoon prayers. Oh shoot. What was her expression like? Ahigao. It was very cold and emotionless. The patient must have had control of her when this happened. Yes, that certainly makes the most sense. Right. What time did this happen? Shortly after my alarm went off. It would definitely be before 2:15 p.m. And this must have been Sybil's body. I suppose so. You don't sound so sure of it. It's just that I recall her garb being much brighter. steel would throw over the balcony was much darker. Right, you mentioned that before. It's clear it was just a trick of the sunlight. The balcony is directly above where we found the body. You obviously saw the defendant dumping the body. What else could it have been? Yes, I suppose you're right. The patron was probably trying to keep her on track, but I'm surprised she didn't attack you. Even if the patron was trying to frame her, she hadn't killed Pierce yet. Yes, I'm a little confused about that myself. Perhaps I should be happy I came out of this unharmed. Anyways, how long did you talk to her? Well, it was brief, before she started ignoring me. Not more than 2 minutes. Right, and these guards are still comatose. Makes you uneasy that you still don't have an explanation for that. Did the Empress of Discord use some kind of demonic magic to do that? The Eye of Horus doesn't leave magical traces, so it's possible demonic magic is the same. Either way, it's awfully convenient he left right before the attack on the prayer room happened. But you suppose you have to put a pin on that for now. Anyways, when did this happen? 2:15. That's when I usually arrive at the prayer room. You were in your quarters during the massacre? Yes, as I mentioned before, my room is magically soundproof. My guards and I were woefully unaware of what happened. We didn't know what has happened until some members of the King's Guard came to inform me what had happened to the king. So members of the King's Guard were there with him, and he mentioned that his guards were there too. They can all probably verify this, but it's still a little hard to believe how close he came to harm that day. How long were you in the quarters for? Until the King's Guard notified me it was safe. On 3:15. Which is around the time Arya was arrested. There's a very small time frame between Sybil's death and Arya's attack. The details could make a huge difference depending on when each event happened. You should see if he remembers the exact time each part of his testimony occurred.
Objection!
Wait, huh? Is something wrong? There is, but I'm not really sure what it means. Stop stammering and say what you want to say. You said that you saw Arya dumping something over the ledge of the balcony. There's no need to be vague, Cuthbert. It's clear from the evidence he saw my daughter dumping Sybil's body. I'm not over the table thing, man. That's the thing. It couldn't have been Sybil's body. What are you talking about? How did you go from not holding the axe to holding the axe in an instant? The location of the balcony to where we found Lady Sybil's body lines up perfectly. That may be, but the witness said that he saw Arya dumping the body before 2:15. Wait, yeah, even you realize it. Can't refute it. You see it too, with your one eye, huh? How did Arya dump Coraline's body before 2:15 if her time of death was 2:18? I see. That does seem peculiar. How curious. But we know the defendants threw Sybil's body into from the lake. There would be no other explanation of how it ended up there. Yeah, that's true. Perhaps she was still alive when Arya threw her off the balcony. She could have been knocked unconscious with a sleep spell. Your Grace, there were no traces of transmutation magic on her body. And even if she was, she wouldn't have survived the fall from that height. The distance is more than 30 stories. And the autopsy report says the cause of death was suffocation. Right. So when did she die? She must have died after she hit the water. But she said she died. She said she would have died upon impact. Okay. That's assuming she didn't do anything to lessen the blow. She had the opportunity to cast a spell to protect herself. Might explain why her body isn't as damaged despite falling from such a great height.
Objection!
Again, that doesn't match with the evidence. Lady Sybil's spell compendium contains the spell Slow Fall. If she had the opportunity to cast a spell, she would have used that spell to slow her descent. And she wouldn't have taken any damage from hitting the lake. That's a really good point. But just indulge me for a second. Which cast did she okay, yeah, I know this one. She must have cast Stone Skin on herself. Stone Skin? If you recall, she did mention that something was strange about the object Arya threw over the balcony. It was much darker and didn't match up with her usual garb. Almost as if there was something else she was wearing. The object was actually Lady Sybil's protected... Lady Sybil protected by a layer of stone. But that still doesn't explain why she wouldn't cast that instead of Slow Fall. He's right. Yeah, why? Why did she cast Stone... okay, yeah. She cast Stone Skin on herself before she was thrown into the lake. Arya must have attacked her, as she cast that spell in response. That would protect her from Steelwind Strike. But that doesn't seem quite right. What do you mean? I may not have seen much, but the object was stiff and motionless. If it had been Lady Sybil, she would have been struggling. What, wouldn't she? That's a good point. The High Speaker saw... okay, yeah. A motionless Sybil, yeah. But if we assume my logic is correct, she would have also been alive. Why was she motionless despite being conscious? Why was she struggling? She must have been affected by a spell. And considering it kept her from resisting Arya, the patron must have made Arya cast that spell on her. Yeah, which one? Which one? It was Hold Creature! Sybil must have cast Stone Skin on herself when Arya attacked her. The patron must have known that Arya couldn't physically damage her like that, so they ordered her to restrain Sybil with that spell. And Sybil died by suffocation! That's right. Even if she was restrained, she was still protected by Stone Skin. That would have left one option for the patron. Yeah, Arya drowned Arya. Sybil suffocated when Arya threw her in the lake. Her stone skin lessened the impact, but it also made her drop like a literal rock. Arya's Hold Creature prevented her from moving or releasing her spell. She was helpless as she sank to the bottom of the lake. I believe the covers all three of the murders then. Yes, Lord Lloyd suffocates to death within his own force cage. Sybil died after Arya cast Hold Creature on her. Lord P.S. died after being wounded by a blade created with a shaped liquid. The only common thread I see is the patron used some of the victims' magics against them. But how does that connect to Pierce? Did he cast shaped liquid to make a blade to defend himself? Maybe the murderer took it from him and used it against him. No, but he was unconscious. He could have been the one to create that blade. Anyways, whoever did this had an in-depth knowledge of each of the spells they used to defend themselves. They knew that Lloyd can't dispel his own force cage. They knew he needed oxygen from within it. They knew that Arya couldn't physically harm her once she had Stone Skin active. They also knew that Hold Creature would prevent Sybil from dispelling her own Stone Skin. Not only that, they all did this within a quick time frame. They died within 13 minutes of each other. And if Arya hadn't encountered Celeste, Pierce might have died just as quickly. So whoever did this had an in-depth knowledge of high-level magic. Not only that, they came up with creative ways to bypass the defenses put up by Lloyd and Sybil. Yes, they had the ability to react quickly and decisively. But considering the circumstances, that hardly narrows it down. Several members of the Four Pillars were present that day. Each and every one of them studied the Imperial Academy. They would have been knowledgeable in magic and the applications. Something they're saying isn't sitting right by you for some reason. There's something here, so why can't you see it? It's no use. You just can't piece it together yet. But you're not finished yet. There's another angle to this. Consider who the patron did and didn't target. The victims were Lloyd, yeah, them. What similarity can we draw between at least two of them? Lloyd and Sybil were the heads of their respective noble houses. Are you saying the patron's goal was to assassinate leaders of the Four Pillars? That's the motive that makes the most sense. But that does leave one question. Don't be coy. I'm not daft, Cuthbert. Actually, I highly doubt it was you. Really now? Out of the most of the people there, he could have easily tricked your daughter to signing a blood contract. But why would you need to do that? You're the Grand General of Ravengard's military, and the cathedral was filled with your men. You could have easily equipped one of your best mages to carry out this massacre, and you wouldn't even need to make a deal with a demon to do so. So why wasn't Lucio targeted then? From her encounter with Celeste, it's clear there's a limit to Arya's combat capabilities. The patron must have simply doubted Arya's ability to defeat the Grand General. But there's also another explanation. Why wasn't he targeted? The patron wanted people to suspect House Deerwind for the murders. They used his daughter to commit the crime, then intentionally left him alive to cast suspicion. That's why they used my daughter? Is that a tinge of anger you feel from him? Anyway, that leads me to my next point. Imagine if you never discovered the blood contract. What would have happened? We'd still think that Miss Deerwind succumbed to Mage Blight. She would have been convicted for the murders, and trust in House Deerwind would have been forever diminished. About a month ago, Freyga lost its head, and his successor, Leif Freyga, was woefully unprepared to take his place. Now the heads of Lloyd and Sybil are dead, with House Deerwind being held responsible for all of it. All Four Pillars would have been weakened as a result of the massacre. But I think there's another layer to this. Everything fits together if we assume the patron's goal was to weaken the Pillar families, except for the murder of Garrick Pierce. Yes, in contrast to Sybil and Lloyd, his political power pales in comparison. Furthermore, Pierce was already scheduled to be executed next month for the murder of Flinthearts McCoy. Why would the patron go to the trouble of murdering a condemned man? The patron murdered Pierce because they needed him to die as quickly as possible. Pierce knew the identity of Celeste's biological parents. My parents? Do you remember what Pierce said when we showed up? Ah, you finally arrived. I suppose this means you finally decided. Wait, you two? Okay, yeah, I'm just skipping this. We weren't the intended recipients. That's right! So that leaves one question. Who? There's only one person Pierce could have sent that letter to. The person who orchestrated the massacre in the first place. But that means the patron is someone who would be threatened by Celeste's parentage. What? Order. Order in the court. But I don't understand. Sorry. I know this is a lot to take in, but I think they were targeting you for some reason. Pierce knew the identity of Celeste's parents and attempted to blackmail the patron with this. Instead of complying with Pierce's demands, the patron instead sent a letter to me. But why go through the trouble of luring you there? They could have just allowed Pierce to wait in the prayer room while the defendant made her way to murder him. Looking back on it, it's possible they wanted to kill Celeste too. What? They knew I wouldn't meet with Pierce alone, and the information he had was about her. The patron correctly guessed I'd bring her with me. By killing both Pierce and Celeste, they'd eliminate any threat Celeste would pose to them. Ooh, damn. But who would be threatened by such information? The mere existence of McCoy posed a threat to them. It must have been something to do with a birthright. Right. So who would that leave? As much as I have my doubts, House Stewart is the only Pillar family whose house leader survived the past months. You think I'm McCoy's biological father? You're barely a father to your actual daughter. Damn. I'm only stating this as a possibility for the sake of argument. As I said, it wouldn't make sense for you to frame your own daughter when House Stewart would be blamed. But we need to consider every possibility. Anyways, we should consider the other suspects. Okay, he just died recently. What if Celeste was a member of the royal family? You think I'm a princess? I don't want to suspect Aster, but we need to consider every possibility. And when it comes to the conflicts of inheritance, a royal line of succession is the first thing that comes to mind. Not only that, the king would have the authority to pardon Pierce from his crimes. But that wouldn't entirely make sense. Why? If McCoy was abandoned at the house there, we must assume she's a bastard child. Okay, I don't know why you have to bring that up. My point is, King Oliver wouldn't abandon a child of pure royal blood. The kingdom requires heirs to continue the royal bloodline. He would have leveraged her in a diplomatic marriage. That's disgusting. That's diplomacy, Cuthbert. Anyways, even if McCoy was of royal blood, Aster is the king's eldest child. And he's of pure royal blood. McCoy would have no claim to the throne under these circumstances. Right. I see what you mean. I suppose that eliminates Aster for now. Anyway, we should consider the other suspects, okay? I recall during Beatrice Frega's trial, we heard William Frega's last will and testament. It mentioned House Frega's assets would be equally divided between all his children. Ah, if McCoy was revealed to be a Freyga, his daughters would be legally obligated to share the estate with her. Could I seriously be a Freyga? I don't want to suspect Leif or Miriam, but we need to consider every possibility. And as we've seen, the Freygas are no strangers to making deals with demons. But it doesn't quite fit. I doubt Leif or Miriam would do something like this. What are you basing this on? I tend to be a good judge of character, and they just don't seem like the type to do something like this. Bah, you're far too trusting. I hold no doubt that any of William's children could be capable of something like this. I suppose we have to see. Okay, yeah. What if the Eye Taker orchestrated the whole thing? The Eye Taker, that common criminal? What reason would he have to do this? I've heard firsthand he was planning to expand his influence throughout Wyvengard. He was actually plotting with Beatrice to use House Freyga to do so. Since I ruined his original plans, setting up that massacre might be his backup. Perhaps we're looking at this all wrong. What if Celeste was a part of the royal family and they were planning to use her to take the throne? But if he wanted to do so, why would he put Celeste in danger by having my daughter attack her? Not only that, he would also have a perfect opportunity to murder His Majesty. Imagine if he had placed a more lethal contingent spell in that glyph of contingency. His Majesty might have very well died alongside Lloyd, Sybil, and Pierce. Yeah, I suppose you're right, but we need to consider every possibility. I can't think of anyone else. There's a flaw with each suspect. Your logic is clearly flawed. Like you don't see him coming up with any ideas. There's something I'm not seeing. But I know I'm close. There's a missing piece that ties this all together. Regardless, we have no idea who this Empress of Discord is. I am loath to allow such an individual to walk freely throughout Wyvengard. Your Grace, you've been alive since the creation of Wyvengard and magic. Do you know who this demon is? I can't say I do. Demons tend to take on many titles over their lifetimes. But whoever this Empress is, they are brave to be so blatantly encroach on my domain like this. Well, I suppose we just have to cross that bridge when we get there. We obtained a lot of information today, but we clearly have many questions that need to be answered. How shall we proceed? What is it, Mr. Cuthbert? I can't help but feel like there's something missing. I just can't put my finger on it. We have been working on this for quite a while. Perhaps we should suspend proceedings so that we can look into these new leads. I have no objections. It would give my men some time to look into what we discovered today. Then it's settled. We will be postponing proceedings for now, but you'll all be expected to return by tomorrow morning. You're all free to return to your homes for the time being. But make no mistake, the Kingsguard will be keeping watch over all of you. There's still this constant nagging sensation in the back of your mind. Hey, Tyrion? As if you've forgotten something important. Tyrion? What is it? What could be so important, yet so difficult to remember? Tyrion! Sorry. I was just thinking about everything. You're looking so stressed out. You want to head back to your house to rest? No. We only have a day. If we can't figure out what happened by after tomorrow, the traces will dissipate. But you already know what happened. You just don't know who did it. Yeah. But we should speak with the suspects again. Maybe if I get lucky, I'll see something. Through the Eye of Horse heresy. But one of those suspects is the Eye Taker. What are you going to do? I suppose I have to speak with him too. No! What if he tries to kill you again? Arya's life is on the line. That's just a risk I'll have to take. Tyrion, do you understand what you've been pulled into? Huh? Someone just murdered a bunch of nobles, and they even attacked members of the royal family. Now there are ancient dragons and demon lords involved. Isn't this above your pay grade? Ouch. You know that's not what I meant. It's just the whole thing is crazy. It's fine. It's just like any of our investigations. It's not, though! What if the Empress of Discord attacks you? What if the patron decides you're getting too close to the truth? What if I can't... Huh? What if you can't what? Oh, right. Her voice begins to break. Celeste? Are you still worried about what happened during the massacre? I'm fine. I already told you that you didn't do anything wrong. You almost died, Tyrion. I know. Tyrion! You almost died! I know, Celeste. No, Tyrion, I don't think you do. Do you have any idea how worried I was when she broke past me? When I saw you all lying on the floor, yeah. So many things were going through my mind. I didn't know what I would have done if you were... She can't even complete the sentence. Celeste, You were so focused on everything else that you've been ignoring her. She was attacked by Arya and almost died. You never thought about how traumatic that must have been for her. I'm sorry. I didn't think... Don't apologize. Just please. Please just leave this to Lucio and the Scale Lord. You've done enough already. They can figure the rest of it out. And what if it's not enough? I'm not so arrogant that I think they can't do it without me. But what if they can't figure out who the patron is? Arya will spend the rest of her life in prison. Which is like 2 months and then she'll die. What if I could have done something to prevent that? I don't care if that happens. Celeste! I don't care, Tyrion. I'll apologize to her all you want after this. But all I want is to keep you safe. And I don't know if I'm able to do that anymore. Even if she's surprised by what she said. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. I'm really happy you're a part of my life. What? I know what you're saying is coming from a place of care. And I'm really sorry about how much I've been worrying you lately, but... You're not going to stop, are you? You're not going to stop, are you? It's like I said. Man, king, or god, nothing will stop you from getting justice from your clients. I'm going to talk to Lucio. Huh? If we're going to meet the Eye Taker again, we're bringing some knights with us. Celeste, that's hardly... Nope, you don't get a say in this. And if you're not here when I get back, I will find you. Judging by her expression, is not an empty threat. Fine, just go. She might have a point, though. Before everything happened, you weren't sure if you wanted to continue being an attorney. Maybe you should consider a safer, quiet life after all this. Perhaps a life with her. Ooh, yeah! Why not? Wait, huh? Alright, Lucio's cleared it. It's surprisingly easy to convince him. Are you okay? I'm fine. Let's not waste any more time. Before she had a chance to respond, you hastily walked past her. Hey! Don't walk so far ahead. You need to stay focused on the trial for Arya's sake. But when this is all over, you'll... Well, you suppose you don't have to think about that for now. Wow. Damn. There's a dragon now? He's alive? Okay. Damn. I mean, I thought it was already established about how they died. Why did they have to go through the murders? Like, oh, he died like this, she died like this. Was that really important in the bigger picture? Is it? Who knows, maybe they'll all connect in the end, I don't know. You know, the ending part about Celeste and Tyrion, whew. I guess that means no more sequels, huh? Since Tyrion's quitting. Ah well, it's fine. As long as everything story-wise is settled, huh? And about the part of Celeste's family, I wonder if Aerys knows. Yeah, I'm pretty sure she knows. Anyway, that's all I have to say for now. Yeah, it's just a long like courtroom session, you know. Who know? Hopefully, I'll get over the table slam thing. Maybe. And I wonder if they'll run into Aerys the next episode. Yeah, they probably will. Anyways, with that being said, thank you for watching my playthrough of Tyrion Cuthbert, Attorney of the Arcane. If you like what you see, stay tuned and stay awesome. Good night.